is ANN News Brief.
I'm Lucy Adeyemi. South Africa's health ministry says after the number of new coronavirus cases has been declining since a peak in July, the confirmed COVID-19 cases have now surpassed 600,000. This has left the country hardest hit on the continent. The ministry said in a statement, South Africa now has a total of more than 603,000 cases and nearly 13,000 deaths. World Health Organization data shows South Africa's case accounts for more than half of the continent's reported infections and nearly half of all COVID-19 deaths. Health Minister Zweli Mkhize said last week the nation is now moving past the point of the pandemic's peak and has gone beyond the inflection point. Meanwhile, South African students in all grades have resumed classes today, Monday, after months of closure because of the coronavirus pandemic. Monday's resumption of classes comes as the country registers a decline in new coronavirus infections. Final year students had resumed classes earlier to prepare for examinations. Last week, United Nations agencies asked African governments to reopen schools with measures to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Moroccan authorities have rejected any normalization of relations with Israel. Prime Minister Saad Dine Al Othmani said on Sunday Morocco will not go into any normalization with the country it called the Zionist entity. It says that would embolden it to go further into breaching the rights of the Palestinian people. His remarks came ahead of a visit to the region by Jared Kushner, a senior advisor to U.S. President Donald Trump, after the UAE and Israel struck a deal to normalize ties. Morocco and Israel began low-level ties in 1993 after an Israeli-Palestinian peace deal was reached. But Rabat suspended relations with the Jewish state after the outbreak of a Palestinian uprising in year 2000. We'll be right back.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow this story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
An armed group in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo has agreed to stop attacks on its ethnic rivals. President Felix Tshisekedi had appealed to the group called Cooperative for the Development of Congo, CODECO, to stop violence. CODECO has been the main armed group active in the region since 2017 and is mainly withdrawn from the Nendud community. The group's spokesman, Bassa Zupa, said they were stopping the act of violence as the government has demanded. The president has sent a group of former warlords in Ituri province to convince CODECO to stop attacks and agree to a ceasefire. Police in the region say violence has decreased since the ceasefire. That is the ANN News Brief at 1. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adeyemi.